Alright YouTube, check this out. This is going to be part 2 of the deck profile where I go over the lines of play. Now, as you can see in this hand, we have the full combo, which is 3 ornament monsters with a different name, and 2 hand traps. This is most likely what you'll see in your opening hands, because we have about, I believe, like 13 going second cards, which means we'll be likely to see like 2 or 3 of them every hand, which is good because you won't be able to go first every time. Now, the thing about this deck is that the lines of play do not require a lot of thinking. What does require a lot of thinking is what to negate on your opponent's turn. You need to know how your opponent's deck plays in order for this deck to do well. Because yes, this deck can play a lot of negates, but if you don't know what to negate, you're gonna negate all the wrong cards, and they'll be able to play through your board anyway. So when you have these 3 monsters, there are 2 different ways you can do it. Either you can normal summon Utopic Onomatopoeia and use its effect to special summon these 2 from the hand. However, you also have to think about what kind of hand traps are your opponent playing. Are they playing Effect Veiler, Imperm, or something like Cyphering Gear Gamma? If they play Effect Veiler or Imperm, you can summon this. Use the effect, it gets negated. You can still summon Bancho from your hand. If you were to summon Dwarf and use the effect special summon Utopic Onomatopoeia and then special Zuba Bancho, if you do it like this, this is worse against Veiler or Imperm, but it's better if they use Gamma, because if they Gamma and destroy your gloves, you still have these 2 for next turn. So we're just gonna play, assuming they have no hand traps. We're just gonna normal summon Utopic Onomatopoeia and use its effect to summon 2 from the hand. This is really good. Oh, not that good, but it's better to do it this way when playing against Max C, because if they were to Max C right here, they would only draw 1 card instead of 2. They're summoned at the same time. Now that we have all 3 monsters on the board, we're gonna XC summon. The first monster we're gonna summon is a Utopic Sage, and you definitely want to summon it by using these 2 monsters, Dwarf and Utopic Onomatopoeia. It's probably better to summon it in the extra monster zone, so you can have more space for the main monster zone. We use its effect, detach 2 materials, and summon send a Sage from the deck. We don't want to Ash Blossom that. So we're going to summon Sage. Now that we have both Dwarf and Utopic Onomatopoeia in the graveyard, we can summon them both back. So we use Zuba Bancho's effect on the field, summon Utopic. No, we don't want to Bell by our own cards. And then we use Dwarf's effect in the graveyard to summon itself back. No, I don't want to do that. Now we're gonna summon the Prime Math Mech by using 3 monsters. And then when on summon, we're going to use the effect to add a level 4 monster from your deck to your hand. This is where we add the Astrotopia. Now before you summon Astrotopia, you're going to want to summon Utopic Draco Future first, because if they do have Nibiru, then you just waste your Astrotopia if you summon it first. Now we go into Utopic Draco Future. They would probably Nibiru us here, which would be really bad for us. But at least this way we keep our Astrotopia for next turn. This card doesn't really matter if we summon an attack or defense, because this card can be destroyed by card effects, so they can't destroy it with Lightning Storm. Now we summon Astrotopia with its own effect. Now we should be safe from a Nibiru or like an Effect Veiler. What's good about this deck is that, as I said before, when you go first, if you open up like the common pieces and 2 going second cards, it doesn't even matter if you have going second cards, because you can get rid of those going second cards right now to have your going first cards. Go just get rid of Bell to add exchange tactics. Now before we do anything else, you're going to want to activate this card first so we can draw all our cards. Now we're going to Exceed Summon Utopia. Okay. By using Utopia and Ascended Sage. Depending on how you summon your Utopia, you're going to want to arrange your chain links. So you want to make sure Sage is chain link 1 and Tactics chain link 2. This way you can chain block with Tactics so they can't ash your Ascended Sage. So that's more important than just drawing the card. And you see this? We just drew one card, but we already have follow-up for the next turn. So even if they do break our board, we still have plays for next turn. Like Utopia Double, for example. We're going to keep Exceed Summoning to draw more cards. Even though summoning Utopia Double would give you one extra card, you do not want to do that, because that just means you don't really have any plays for next turn. Now we have to use the Mega Magic. Since we went first, our opponent could have Lightning Storm, so we're going to summon this card in defense. It has the same stats, attack and defense, so it doesn't really matter. Now we're going to activate again to draw one more card. You do not want to chain Dragonite to this effect, because if you summon a monster, exchange chain tactics can miss the timing. Okay, now we're going to use it. The materials you check doesn't really matter. We'll just summon Leo in defense. Even though that seems really bad, because it's going to actually even gain attack with the Zexal weapon. But again, we have protection from that, so it's okay. And we want to play around Lightning Storm. Oh, we even drew Maxi, it's really nice. So now we're going to activate the effect to equip the Zexal weapon from our deck. Now we're going to activate Pickup. Oh no, I don't want to chain this. What am I doing? We can't activate... Oh, we can't activate Para this turn. There's no need to. So, this is the end of the play on our turn. We have one monster negate, another monster negate, another monster negate, Maxi to draw more cards, an Ash to negate another card, and during our opponent's turn, we're going to activate Dragnir to get another negate. So we just end our turn. I don't know how to toggle on in this game. I don't know how to toggle on this app. But normally, when I play it on console, I can activate this effect during my draw phase or standby phase, which you'd rather do that, so you can play around. So you can negate Lightning Storm if it does come up. This you're gonna want to summon an attack, so that when your opponent attacks into this monster, they'll be destroyed in battle. Because if they have something like an Exceed monster that attacks into a defense position, number 38. Then it's bad, because if there's Exceed monster survives, then they can summon Zeus. Or if they what do you call it? If they have something like, for example, like a Sky Striker Ace, which one is it? The wind one? I forget what it's called. Hayate. If they attack and we can redirect the attack towards number 38, their monster won't be destroyed, and then they'll still be able to dump. So they'll keep the monster, and they'll be able to use it to link summon again. So now we just got an extra spell negate on our opponent's turn. And so yeah, it's basically the deck. Again, the lines of play aren't very complicated. You don't really think through them. Again, you just have to know what your opponent's deck do. You need to know what your opponent does to negate them. That's where the skill comes in for this deck. So here's another hand that we have. This is not full combo, but it's still a great hand because we have 2 Ornament Monsters plus the Sage. So I'm going to show you how to go through this line of play. And again, we have 2 go-second cards, which is really good. So we're going to dump Sage. It's really good to have some go-second cards because again, you won't be able to go first all the time. When you're playing Onomatopoeia turn 1, if you might want to go for Utopic Onomatopoeia and Dwarf first, because that means you have more Bancho in the deck, and it's better to draw Bancho. That way, next turn you can summon Utopic back from the grave and Dwarf back from the grave. If you were to add Utopic Onomatopoeia and Bancho, then we'll be equally likely to get like a Dwarf or a Bancho, and drawing Dwarf is not good because we can't summon anything from the graveyard. So we're gonna add a Dwarf and Utopic. So now we're gonna special summon Ascended Sage. We're gonna normal summon Dwarf, and you want to normal summon Dwarf and use effect to summon Utopic. You could do it the other way around, but you don't want to because if they imperm, then that's bad because if they imperm your Dwarf, it's okay because next turn you just normal summon Utopic and special summon Dwarf from your grave. And if you should do it the other way around, if you normal summon Utopic and you have Dwarf in your hand, you can't, if they imperm your Utopic, you can't special summon Utopic back with Dwarf on your next turn. So we're going to use Dwarf's effect to summon Utopic from our hand. So now we don't have enough materials to go for, we don't have enough materials to summon Utopic Draco Future. So what we're going to do is we're summon Utopia double using Dwarf and Ascended Sage. So we will be able to activate the Ascended Sage to add the rank up magic to our hand. Now we're going to detach materials to activate Utopia Double's effect. You want to detach Dwarf here so you can get into the grave now. No, we don't want to change anything. So we get double or nothing. If you have double or nothing in your hand, then Utopia Double is just a dead card. So even though it's going to have like 5,000 attack, you still want to summon Leo in defense. Again, just to play around Lightning Storm. Now we're going to activate the effect to attach a Lexal weapon. Now we're going to use Dwarf's effect on the graveyard to summon itself. Then we just use these two to summon regular Utopia. And then we're going to summon Prime. This is just so Utopia Dragon can have 4 materials, so we can activate the effect twice. And you're still going to want to summon in defense, just to play around, again, cards like Lightning Storm. So now is when we activate Dragonair. And here's where we summon different things. So, before we could only summon Leo and Hope Harbinger, but now we can summon 2 monsters that are not Leo, because we still have another 2 more materials. So we can summon now number 38, and on our opponent's turn we can summon number 4. So we'll summon Hope Harbinger. And you do want to make sure the Hyper Rank of Magic is attached to Hope Harbinger, so you're going to protect our monsters twice. And yeah, that's all we can do this turn. So we're going to end our turn. And now during our opponent's turn, Can activate Dragon here by detaching the last materials, and now we can summon Kraken. So with this on the field, we now have one monster negate, another monster negate, a spell negate, an interruption, and 2 hand traps, which is really good. We actually don't really have any follow-up plays. If they were to like activate Ragneki and Dark Hole, we would lose our entire field. The only thing we can do is like maximum draw into our next cards. But yeah, that's basically what your end board would be with a great hand. The first one was a full combo. This is a great hand. Now I'll show you a good hand. So this is a good hand. We do have evenly matched, so if we went second, we could probably wipe our opponent's board. And it's about 2 max Cs. So for anything with Ascended Sage is at least a good hand, because let's add a most important card, which is the Mega Magic. So let me show you what the end board would look like with this. Just summon Ascended Sage, then normal summon Utopic. Then we just summon Utopia. We don't have the materials to summon Future. If they were to Ash us now, that'd be really bad. You don't have any way to play through that. Maybe in this specific situation, it'd be better to summon a double, because that way, even if they were to Ash the effect to add the weapon, the Mega Magic, then you'd still be able to like use Utopia Double's effect to summon at least Utopia Leo. You don't ever want to summon Dragonair with double, because it only gets 2 materials instead of 4. So even with just the 2 level 4s, we'll still get like some cards. Some negates. As long as we have the Mega Magic spell, we'll always be able to activate Leo's effect. And yeah, that's all we can do this turn. But still, on our opponent's turn, we still activate our Dragonair's effect again during their draw phase. It's unfortunate, but even if they play that Lightning Storm, and they choose to activate the effect to destroy spells and traps, even though most of our monsters wouldn't be destroyed, we still have to negate Lightning Storm regardless of whether a monster is on attack or defense, because if we lose the Pegasus Twin Saber, then we lose 2 of our negates. So with just 2 cards, we got 2 monster negates and 1 spell negate. That's 3 negates. So even with just 2 cards, that's not even bad. Let's see, there's still one more hand that I'm going to show you. So this hand is okay at best. We have this, so we can get to level 4 to summon Utopia. We don't have access to Ascended Sage, which is kind of bad, but we still have something. So, and we have a Call by the Grave, so to protect us from any hand traps. We can use this effect to add Para. If we were going second, the card to dump would be this, because it's a trap card, so we can't even activate it until the 3rd turn of the game. So since we're going first, we definitely want to set this. So we'll probably discard Bell. So, as mentioned before, when you have to add any of the 3, you want to add Bancho last. So we're going to add Utopic and Dwarf first. We rather draw into Bancho. So we're in the same situation as I stated before. You can summon Utopic Onomatopoeia and use the effect to summon Dwarf from the hand. And you can use Dwarf's effect on the field to do the same thing, summon Utopic from the hand. But if they negate this, then it's really bad if they negate Utopic's effect, because then next turn with Dwarf in hand we can't summon Utopic back from the graveyard. So we're gonna use Dwarf's effect to summon Utopic Onomatopoeia from the hand, and even if they negate this, next turn we can normal summon Utopic Onomatopoeia and push summon Dwarf from the grave. So since we don't have access to Utopic Sage, I mean, we can summon it, but we don't have anything to summon Utopia afterwards. This is when we can summon Utopic double first. Now we can use its effect to add double or nothing. And then we can summon Leo. Now it's kind of debatable whether we want to summon an attack or defense, because we don't have any way to protect it. So it only has 2,000 attack. I mean 2,000 defense. So we'll probably just summon an attack this time. We do have number protection to protect it from something like Lightning Storm. You definitely want to detach your automat cards first. That way, if you do draw Boncho, or a way to access Boncho, you can summon both back from the grave. So even with an okay hand, we have 2 negates. This is just being, we just happened to draw into, we got lucky. But normally we get 2 negates, which is this monster negate and this monster negate. So even with an okay hand, we still have 2 negates plus 3 other cards that could be anything. So yeah, again, this deck's line of plays are very linear. They don't require a lot of thinking, but they do require thinking when thinking about what cards your opponent needs. Like, what cards do you need to negate? You can't just negate anything you want and you'll win. Sometimes your opponent will play through it. So yeah, you have to know how other decks work in order to make Utopia work. I don't play other decks, but I still know how they work. I still know which cards to negate. So yeah, in order to effectively use this deck, you have to know what are the correct cards to negate. That should be it for the video. Expect to find more Utopia replays on this channel coming soon. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment down below what you think about my tutorial, and have a nice day.